Welcome to Louisiane, conversations brought to you by the official magazine of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I'm managing editor Marie Elizabeth Oliver. Today, we're giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into planning our magazine and what's to come in our new fall issue. To do that, we have a very special guest, the editor of Louisiane and senior editorial director for the university, Dr. James Savage. Welcome, James.
Thank you, Marie Elizabeth. I sit 20 feet from you, and I've been waiting for the invitation to arrive, so I appreciate you having me here.
Well, we've rolled out the red carpet, and it's an exciting occasion because it's been about a year since we started this podcast, so we were just really waiting to get ready to have you here. So,
congratulations on the podcast, because it is, and I'll talk a little bit about this here in a bit, but it is definitely part of where the magazine's going. So we're excited to have it, and I'm excited to join you finally. So
Thank you. So I know you have a long history with the magazine, originally serving as a student editor. So can you start by sharing what that experience was like and why student involvement is so important to the magazine?
I was student editor for 4 issues between 2002 and 2004. And that experience, it was really very special for me because, one, it enabled me to finish my undergraduate degree and stick around and do my master's. But more than that, it kind of marked a shift in my professional path. So I had been working in newspapers for probably the preceding decade, and what this opened up was this opportunity for long form, more thoughtful pieces away from the daily grind of newspaper work. And it really kind of, I was allowed to create a freedom to explore stories in more depth and more thoroughly than before. So I was very appreciative for that opportunity. I was hired by the legendary Kathleen Thames, and I'm still very grateful to her for that. So, now, as for students, they are absolutely essential to the magazine in a couple different ways. One, I think it's important to note that we are student funded.
Absolutely.
So we can't do what we do without that student support, and students have been very generous over the years in sustaining the magazine and allowing us to do this work. So we have a responsibility to them. So not only is the magazine open to a lot of really talented young writers, and in that way it becomes a teaching tool that allows them to experience the same things that I experienced as student editor. So a place to really practice and hone their craft, and they leave from that experience, at least we hope that they leave from that experience with the ability to take in information, digest it, and present it to an audience. And that is a skill that will serve them throughout their lifetimes and will enable them to really reach whatever success they have in mind. So we're very grateful to our students and giving that space. So it really reflects, I think, the university's educational mission. So the magazine is a place where we can showcase that student work, and we've been very fortunate in the last several issues to have really talented young writers who give me hope for the future of journalism and the communications profession. So
100%, and just to echo that, I feel like we've gotten feedback from our students, just giving us awareness of how this experience is so different, from working in the classroom, having that experiential learning and seeing it all firsthand and how that's impacted them as they go out either to graduate school or to work in media. So that's been really cool to see.
And the other benefit of having that student talent available to us is they really serve as a conduit to the larger student body. I am probably not the best gauge of what students need to hear nowadays or need to know about, and so we can rely on these folks to really be ambassadors for the student body and keep us serve as a reminder of why we do the work that we do.
Yes, and in every magazine there's a student section, and lately, it's really been led by story ideas from the students. So in that regard, the magazine has been around for a long time, more than 35 years. It started in 1989. So what do you think still makes it relevant today, given this, media environment that's always changing?
Right. Well, I like to think that magazines allow, in a very noisy media environment, magazines allow calm. Mm-hmm. And they allow introspection. They allow reflection. You can really immerse yourself in a magazine and marinate on an idea and a story in a way that you can't in a tweet or an Instagram post or a Teams message or an email. We are inundated with information coming at us from all directions all day long. But I can pick up this magazine, I can put it down, I can come back to it when I need a quiet moment, and that's what it offers in today's world. That's never going to change. Humans will always need a moment of reflection and thought. And I think that's what magazines can offer. Now, and like I said, that's something we take very seriously. For the long-term sustainability of the magazine is giving people something that is thoughtful and thorough.
And something just tangible to hold
on to it.
The beautiful visuals, like the photography, the design, all that. It's just so different when you see it digitally, which I love the digital, the immediacy and the connectivity, but the physical is so important and valuable. So talking a little more about this next issue, I know we have last year's issue here on the table, but thinking about next year's issue, is there anything that stands out or that is a little different that people can look forward to?
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that we're sitting here on the magazine's podcast is a big change for us. And in the past 2 years, really led by you and a lot of members of our team, we're embracing a transformation, a digital transformation. So it might sound like a little bit of a contradiction to what I just said about the power and purpose of print. But in order to keep print and to really sustain it and keep it alive, we have to change. We have to embrace this because if we love print, we have to take into account how people are receiving news. We have grown exponentially. Our social media reach, our digital production, the podcast, of course, being a centerpiece of that. We're always looking for tools and platforms that are going to reach and engage more readers, share with them the tons of stories that we have. Every classroom, every lab, every athletic event is a story in and of itself. There are thousands of them on campus. We get to bring that to people, and so we're embracing these new tools to do that in these new and engaging ways. So I think that's a huge change for us because we're not just thinking about, meeting the print deadline. We're talking about extending the tail of these stories well beyond when the magazine hits the racks and, allowing people, again, that time to go back to it, to engage it in different ways. If you maybe you're not a reader, but you will certainly. You can watch a video that explains to you why that story is important, and maybe it'll open up, the opportunity for you to explore the print publication too. So it's a little bit of a symbiosis that we're shooting for. Our goal is Louisiana as a brand. It's an old brand, as you note. Our goal is to make sure that it is sustainable well into the future, beyond 35 more years. We're stewards of that, and we take it very seriously. So in order to do that well, we've got to adapt.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Yes. And I think listeners of this podcast or show or however people are consuming it will recognize in the next issue some of the stories that we told here first and vice versa. We're going to tell some of those stories in a deeper way. So I love how it's feeding each other and, like you said, kind of giving people more to chew on if they're interested.
One of your guests a few months ago was Scott Durbin, and that story has actually been in our queue for quite a while, and so we held it for a variety of reasons. The magazine changes often right up into to publication. It's a giant jigsaw puzzle that we're trying to fit together, and so that story got held. But by holding it, not only we were able to expand it with some of the new and exciting things that he's doing with as the veteran imagination mover,
right?
But to add to it this additional content that I think will delight children of all ages,
Yes.
obviously. So and that's one of the benefits of doing kind of a digital first strategy on occasion. So.
Right. We talked a little bit about what's to come, and I love that you mentioned Scott because my 4-year-old daughter is his number one fan now. So we're so excited to see that story in the magazine. Yeah. But what else? What other stories are you excited about? I know some may be under lock and key, but can you share a little bit, tease out some things for this audience?
There's a number of them, and it's sort of like which one of your children do you like the most? And I'm thinking a lot about any story that is produced by our students. Mm-hmm. Excites me.
Yes.
And so we have a wonderful story that's coming up about vital mental health services that we offer here on campus by our student editor, Angeline Matthews. So that story excites me. And the reason it excites me is because, the story will be wonderful. It is wonderful. I've read it. It's great. But what excites me is watching the student work on those stories.
Yes.
That's really a joy. Mm-hmm, and
mm-hmm.
I have my dissertation advisor used to talk about a fire in the belly, and if you don't have a fire in the belly, it will make you a miserable historian. It will make you a miserable reporter. You have to have that, and so these students have that, and so every comma, every word has that, and the readers can sense it. If a writer is bored with his topic or her topic, then the reader can sense that. And you don't get that in Louisiane because everybody who works on the magazine, whether it's our creative team, the photographers, the fantastic writers that we have, the students, have that fire mm-hmm. and have an affinity for this place. And they want to share that with as many people as they can. And that's the things that excite me, is sort of watching that production and watching that growth. It really is why we get out of bed in the morning.
Absolutely. And I remember when Angeline came to us with that story idea, yep. And it really, like you said, the genesis, it was with her as a student. She saw this issue among her peers. And the thing about magazine journalism that, I really enjoy and that you mentioned is that you have a long time to work on a story. You don't have a deadline of the next day or the next week. And so to see her report this story and to see it evolve in real time and, attending mental health week and talking to students, it's so neat to see. So I'm excited about that story too.
Any student, we have a number of student voices. We had a wonderful editorial intern in the last issue, Kate Parker, who is stuck around as a grad student. He does a lot of social media for the magazine, and he's working with our social media team. And so we also get that sort of fire and enthusiasm in the digital content that we're producing as well. And you cannot put a price tag on that.
No.
You can't. It means everything. I don't really want to work with bored writers. I don't want to work with bored photographers. And I'm lucky I don't have to.
No, you can say that again. And thinking about just our photography too, which we, both of us come from a writing background, but our photographers are so amazing, and they really just bring to life the stories. I know they've been hard at work. Well,
there's every photo, Doug Dugas and Paul Q are exceptional photographers. The magazine is blessed with their work, and every photograph is a love letter to the campus. And you'd be hard pressed to find better collection of photography in any publication. Of course, I might be biased, but I challenge somebody to show me better. But no, and the same goes for writers. The same goes for writers. I talked earlier about the Scott Durbin story. Well, Charlie Beer, the award-winning Charlie Beer, whose work has graced Louisiana for 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, maybe more than that. He really he is a student of the craft of writing, and it shows. And it shows. Your work, same thing. And so again, it's just a joy. It's just such a joy to work with these pros.
Well, Charlie wrote this cover story, and I think, if you haven't already read it, you can still pick up copies of the magazine around campus. And he really, speaking of love letters, I mean, he just poured his passion into this cover story, and I'm looking forward to reading his next one. And we haven't talked about the design, but I know our creative director, Courtney Jeffries, is also such a huge part of this. Got to give everybody their flowers here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm making sure we're giving everybody credit because yes, I'm the editor, but the best thing that I can do is step away. And that sounds kind of counterintuitive maybe, but you just get out of people's way and you let them do, and then you just luxuriate in what comes back, and it's really so special. It really is. It's a joy.
Well, we're lucky, very lucky to have your leadership. We are. And for, those people listening, I know some people hear this on the radio or, may see it on social media. And if they're wondering, who gets a copy of this magazine? Is it just something that you're lucky to come across? You want to share a little bit about that?
You would be very lucky to come across it. No, we mail the magazine to 93,000 alumni, policymakers, business owners, high schools. It is a recruitment tool for the institution. Donors, supporters, friends, just people who are curious about the work that's being done at UL Lafayette. So 93,000 people get it that way. There are racks all over campus. We've actually extended the reach of the magazine by putting racks in some heavily traveled places around Lafayette. You can get it that way. You can get it online at louisiana.edu/magazine. Easy enough to remember. You can get past copies of the magazine there as well. So, and I've been known to slip one in the mail if somebody calls and wants it. I've been known to do that too. So we want to spread this. We don't do this work for months and months and months and want to keep it to ourselves. That's not how anything grows. We have so much success and accomplishment here at the university. And so, like I said, every classroom has a story. Every lab has a story. We want people to read those stories. And if, for those alums who get it, to remind them of the things that they love about this institution. You're going to see faces names places that look different than you remember them because the campus has certainly changed over the years. But that affinity for the institution is not only something that we feel as we're producing the magazine, but it's something we want to inspire as people are getting the magazine. And we hear from readers that tell us, I get the magazine and it reminds me of some of the best times in my life. Well, that's a good day's
That's
work.
That's all you could want.
That's all
yes.
you could want.
Yes.
It's a good day's work. So we want to make sure we get the magazine in as many hands as we can because it's a great story to tell.
Yes, and we are looking forward to this fall issue. You, as a listener, can check it out. As soon as we have it, we will, like James said, be mailing it out. It'll be on campus. You can follow us on social media. on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll let you all know when this copy is available. So, stay tuned for that. We're very, very excited to share these stories with you because, like James said, we've been really working hard on them for a while now. So, anything else before we go?
No, this has been fun. It was. Was concerned because you do have a reputation as sort of the Mike Wallace of KRBS, so I was a little concerned about that. But no, it's been a real delight, and I just, like I said, serving in this role alongside these really talented, wonderful people, writing about a really wonderful place that's special to me and special to all of them. I think that's something that should be noted, that the magazine is produced by a lot of alums.
Absolutely.
We're proud of that.
Yes.
We're proud of that. So we all have a connection to this place that you can't replicate. And, this is, like I said, to go from the student editor role to this role, it's really, there's a little bit of there's some nostalgia in there, but it feels good. And it's a responsibility that I don't take too lightly.
Well, like I said, we're lucky to have you, and glad you came full
That's
circle.
Kind. Thank you.
And thanks for coming on the show. I didn't have to bribe you too much.
No.
Appreciate it. And we appreciate you joining this conversation with La Louisiane, the official magazine of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette since 1989. Check back next month for more discussions with members of our university community. You can listen to an archive of this interview by visiting louisiana.edu/magazine. KRVS is listener-supported public radio for Acadiana, a service of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Thanks for listening.